Uvlulota, Paralaripsi, Koyanaripsi, Kairosi, ATCHAAQWUK mitunga AQPIK, Kaniksuk sila uvlupak, Naralik kiutirunga tamani, Uvanga Jerica Aamodt, INUPIAQ sinikaktunga malarunik, INUPIAQ sinika neyok asi turpak, ATCHAAQWUK miururunga, Angayokaka iliroagalu kuragalu, Brower Aamodt lu koya rurunga, Panikaktunga dausimik, INUPIAQ sininga nasukbarak, Savaktunga ilisarvigmi, INUPIAQ studies mi, Ilisaktunga ilichirunga lu inupetun, Ilisarirunga ilisarvigmi, Pilotar niuraktunga. Ilatka angunaktirut, Pikparirut, Nirerutin nirelu, Nautcha nirelu, Tarayormi nunami. Ariga, I just wanted to welcome everyone to AақVIQ College's session today. I am currently located at home in AақVIQ, and it is snowing, so please enjoy the warm sun for me. I apologize that I was unable to make it there. I wish I was able to, but I had other things come up, so I am here. My name is Jerica Aamodt. My INUPIAQ name is Neyok and Turkbuk. I am from AақVIQ, formerly known as Barrow, Alaska. I come from the Aamodt and Brower last name, so I'm basically related to almost the whole town. I have one daughter, and her INUPIAQ name is Nasukbarak. I work at AақVIQ College in the INUPIAQ Studies Department. I am the assistant professor for INUPIAQ Studies. My family and I are hunters, as we love the animals and plants from both the ocean and the land. It is our way of life. These pictures show a little glimpse of our lifestyle that we love and cherish. Today I will be presenting on the INUPIAQ Studies Department and what we do to perpetuate INUPIAQ traditional knowledge. I wanted to talk about a course that I teach called Traditional and Contemporary Native Food Preparation. In this course, I teach how to cut, process, and cook different types of native food from start to finish. My students learn how to cut native foods such as different parts of beluga and bowhead whale, caribou, geese, ducks, seal, and different types of fish. Then they learn how to cook them traditionally in ways that our ancestors have prepared since time immemorial. Then they learn how to cook contemporary indigenized recipes with our native foods, so they get the best of both worlds. In the photos, you can see a couple of my students cutting some salmon caught from the Arctic Ocean. On the right are all the different types of dishes they made. The baked salmon, soup, patties, and spread are contemporary dishes, while the dried fish and tundra greens soaked in seal oil is a traditional dish, which was brought in from one of my students. Here are more photos showing my students cutting meat from the legs of a TUTTU, caribou. Then from there, they learn how to prepare it in different ways, including our traditional delicacy called INUPIAQ ice creams, which uses the fat and meat to make a very fluffy dish. They also learn how to grind it into different things such as burgers, jerky, sausages, wontons, soup, ALUTARAQ, which is a dish made of caribou meat and gravy, and also pho. This next slide shows pictures of the different ways to prepare AÄVIQ, bowhead whale. Occasionally we invite elders and guest speakers to share their knowledge. In these photos we have fresh bowhead whale skin and blubber and meat cooked into a stir fry. And they also learn how to boil bowhead whale, which is used for many other dishes as well. Here are some pictures from our traditional plant summer camp. In this camp we travel to one of the villages in our region for a few days, where they learn about the local edible and medicinal plants and berries. This last summer, we went to the oldest village in Alaska called Tikyak, also known as Point Hope. Local guides brought us down the coast, up the river, to the point with four-wheelers and boats. Our students got to pick a majority of plants and berries and learned of their uses. I want to give a sample session on the content that they learned. A big portion of the camp was learning about medicinal plants. Medicinal plants are used as medicine. They can be used in ways such as teas, tinctures, salves, creams, boiling the fresh plants, used in baths or saunas. To store the plants, you dry the leaves until they're very crunchy, and then you store in a cool, dark place, whether in Ziplocs, jars, covered, or soaked in olive oil. So medicine is medicine. You don't want to use too much. Just like the medicine you buy at the store, you want to use it in moderation. One of the most powerful medicinal plants that we have in the North Slope of Alaska is called soreraroq. It's also called stinkweed or wormwood. It is a very powerful medicinal plant. We use the leaves both when they're green and when they're brown. The green leaves, we use them topically, which means on top of your skin, and they are very strong, stronger than the brown leaves. We use these green leaves in salves. We like to boil them or use them in saunas. The brown leaves, they're not as strong as the green ones, so we use them internally, which means you can put inside your body. With the brown leaves, we can use them in a tea. With the tea, you only like to use a few leaves per cup of water because it is still very powerful, although they are brown. The healing properties from soreraroq is that they help with arthritis, colds, cuts, infections, and is a pain reliever. Salad greens. Salad greens are the greens that you can eat like in a salad, or INUPIAQ salad, which is basically like a mixture of different meats and tundra greens put together. We also use salad greens in cooked foods or when we're cooking, or also fresh in smoothies. For myself, to store my salad greens, I like to store them in the freezer. I like to vacuum seal them so that when I do open them, they are still fresh. And then the traditional way of storing is to put them in misaraq, which translates to seal oil. So when we're ready to use our salad greens, we just take them out of the freezer and we add them to whatever dish that we're going to make, or we eat them as is. Our students got to learn about ATCHAAQŁUK, which is beach greens. And these are the young leaves, and it's like a patch of green leaves that you find right on the beach. And we eat the young leaves raw before they start to have flowers. We like to boil them in soup, and they're very high in vitamin C. QUYANAQPAK is another green, and it's translated to mountain sorrel. These are one of my favorite greens to pick in the summertime. We'll sit on the side of the bluff and just pick and munch all summer long. The leaves are a very good source of vitamin C. They're very sour. They remind us of the taste of grape skin. So they're sour and they have that same texture. We eat them raw right off the plant. We can store them in seal oil. We love to add them in smoothies. This next one that our students learned about is QUPPIQUTAQ, which translates to fireweed. We have two different types of fireweed. There's the dwarf fireweed and the regular fireweed. Dwarf fireweed is the shorter plant with about 3 or 4 big flowers, and then the tall fireweed has 10 plus flowers, and it's very tall. With these ones, our students got to pick from the dwarf fireweed plant, and they learned how to boil it and turn it into a jelly. You could also eat the young leaves and also add that to your salad greens. The next one that our students learned about is called QUYANAQPAK, and it translates to sourdock. With this one, it's a very tall plant with red flowers, and we like to pick the leaves. And our favorite thing to do is that when we get a whole bunch of them, we'll cut them in bite-sized pieces, then we'll boil them. We like to add some cinnamon, some spices, and maybe some sugar, depending on people's preferences. And we just boil it for a little while until it looks like cooked spinach, and you just eat it like that. This plant has a high amount of oxalic acid, and so when you boil it, it helps break down that acid. So it's safe to eat when it's boiled. You can eat some of the leaves raw, but you want to limit yourself because of that acid. With the stems, you can chew on them. Some of the kids, they like to chew on it because it is very sour. And then also you can make jam with the stems as well. The next one is A악VIQ, wild chive. This was one of the favorite ones that our students picked. They look exactly like green onions. Our students learned how to dig them up and pick the bulb. They cut them up and used it in a salmon spread at our camp. For this wild chive, you can also cut up the flower, the purple flower, and you could use the whole part of the plant in your soup or whatever you are going to be making it with. Our students got to pick AQPIK, which translates to cloudberries, and you can eat them raw right off the plant. We like to put them in pies, smoothies, cakes, jam, AQPIK, which is again the INUPIAQ ice cream. While at our summer camp, or plant summer camp, not only do our students learn about plants, medicines and salad greens, but our students get to learn about other things as well. Our students got to go fishing, hunting for TUTTU, they went boating, upriver, downriver, got to ride the four-wheelers, go to different place areas, learned about the history of TUTTU, heard stories from the region. They got to pick this dye. It's called AÄVIQ, and it's a red clay, and it's used to dye our traditional skins red. So they got to learn about that, and there's so much more things that we do during our camps, more than just plants. After we're done in TUTTU or whatever village that we're in, we'll come back to AÄVIQ where we process all of our pickings, and our students got to learn how to make a healing salve with rock, the stinkweed plant. They got to pick a bunch of AQPIK cloudberries and store them, and they got to take everything that they picked home. We got to make smoothies as well. They learned how to chop up the QUYANAQPAK and boil it. You could also see a picture of the salmon spread that they made, and they chopped up the fresh A악VIQ and sprinkled it on top. Our students also got to learn how to make the QUPPIQUTAQ fireweed jelly. I want to briefly talk about another cultural camp that we offer, and it's called INUPIAQ Land Use, Values, and Resources. This camp is similar to the plant camp, except much, much more. We go camping in one of the villages in our region for about 1 week with local guides who host the camp. We live in tents and live off the land for about 1 week. In these photos, the village of Nuaksit hosted our camp, and we had fresh fish every day as they are a fishing people next to a bountiful river. Our camp was set up about a 45-minute boat ride away from the village at a place called QUYANAQPAK. We went boating up and down the river. Were successful in getting TUTTU, caribou, and a brown bear. Our students learned how to cut up the animals, cook the food that was caught, learned about the history of the local area, learned about the plants, stories, about alder tree dye, how to tan a brown bear skin. They did some hand sewing, singing and dancing, and so much more. I really love our INUPIAQ Studies program because it allows students to strengthen their cultural identity or the identity of our region through the passing of traditional knowledge. I have students who have never been camping, and just to have that opportunity really gives them a connection to who they are. They go home motivated and with gratitude. I want to thank you for allowing us to present QUYANAQPAK Umatimnin. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.